tonight.
That is Israeli special forces on the grounds of Al-Aqsa. Palestinians have been throwing stones at them. There's been sound grenades thrown at Palestinians.
That's inside Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque, where Israeli forces attacked worshippers and journalists. Hind Hassan was there. Plus,
if we don't get it,
Amazon, Apple, Starbucks. People might finally be getting the country's biggest employers to cough up some basic workers' rights. We go to the latest fight right here in New York City. And Michael Moynihan heads to the TikTok houses of LA to figure out who's actually cashing in on all those dance videos. Spoiler alert, it's not always the dancers.
Who has the biggest following? How big is your following?
Right now I have 4.1 million.
I'm sorry, what now?
This is Vice News Tonight. I'm Krishna Andavolu. This month brought us a pretty beautiful confluence of religious celebrations. Easter for Christians, Passover for Jews, and Ramadan for Muslims. But in Jerusalem, the convergence has been rocked by violence. On Friday, after dawn prayers at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, Israeli police shot rubber bullets and stun grenades, and drones dropped tear gas on worshippers. They say they were responding to Palestinians who threw rocks at them. Hind Hassan was there the next day.
Look, they're coming towards us.
tonight.
Journalists. Like, this is all.
This is taking place almost exactly a year after Israeli police raided the same mosque, contributing to an 11-day war where more than 254 Palestinians were killed in Gaza and 12 Israelis killed by Hamas rockets. Hind Hassan is in Jerusalem and joins me now. Hind, you were at the Al-Aqsa compound on Friday. What did you see?
Well, the Israeli police have carried out a number of raids on the Al-Aqsa compound during the month of Ramadan, and we were there on Friday when Yassam, an Israeli special police unit, entered the grounds of Al-Aqsa. I was there, and I was with my colleague Ayman, who was filming on a camera, and we were with a group of Palestinian journalists who were all there to document what was taking place. At one point, we sought refuge behind this small, isolated brick building, which was in the middle of part of the Al-Aqsa courtyard. When we became surrounded by Israeli police, they came at us from two different sides. So we clearly identified ourselves as journalists. We told them that we were journalists in 3 different languages, in English, in Arabic, and in Hebrew, but that didn't stop them aggressively charging at us with their batons and using rubber bullets and pointing their guns at us. To get to safety, we ran across the courtyard in order to try to get to somewhere safe, but they continued to shoot at us. And 2 of the journalists that were in our group were hit by the rubber bullets, 1 in the neck and 1 in the lower body. And we also saw a Palestinian who was across the courtyard from us, who had gone down. His family said that he was hit by a rubber bullet, and he was then dragged off by Israeli soldiers. And we now know that he is in hospital fighting for his life.
And what's the context of the latest round of violence that we're seeing in Al-Aqsa?
Well, Al-Aqsa Mosque is one of the holiest places for Muslims in the world. And Jewish people also believe that it is the site of the holy, important Temple Mount. Now, Jewish people are allowed to visit the Al-Aqsa compound on certain days within certain timeframes. What happened this year was that the Islamic month of Ramadan coincided with the Jewish festival of Passover, and we saw a record number of Jewish people entering the compound and visiting it. But whilst they were given an armed police escort onto the grounds of the mosque, there were many Palestinians who couldn't get in. They were stopped by Israeli police, either at the entrances or at checkpoints. And what we've seen over the past few weeks is Israeli police storm the grounds of the mosque, armed with rubber bullets, armed with stun grenades. Palestinians have been throwing stones. And as a result of all of this, we've seen hundreds of Palestinians injured and hundreds of them arrested.
You've touched on the weapons that were used inside the grounds. Can you elaborate more on what was used?
Well, the Israeli police were using black bullets that are made of aluminium and plastic, and the tip is made of a dense synthetic rubber. They are classed by manufacturers as non-lethal, but actually they are very, very dangerous, and they have been known to have killed Palestinians previously. They've been used in the West Bank and Jerusalem previously, and Palestinians who've been hit in the face have been blinded or disfigured. If you cast your minds back to the Black Lives Matter protests back in 2020 and the discussion around what were called sponge grenades that were used by the American police against protesters, well, this is a more dangerous, evolved, heavier, denser version of that. Palestinians aren't allowed to be armed, but they do have rocks and they have fireworks that they have been using, which they say is their legitimate form of resistance against the Israeli police. But what was so different this time round was that for the first time, Israelis used a drone to drop tear gas on the grounds of Al-Aqsa. We were in an area that was predominantly women and children. There were children who were crying, people were screaming. Because of the large crowds, we couldn't just run to safety, so we got stuck and everyone was choking and unable to breathe. I had seen the drone in the sky and I instantly recognized it as the same drone that I'd seen that had been used to drop tear gas against Palestinian protesters in Gaza. But this is the first time that had been used in the grounds of Al-Aqsa Mosque.
And what are you expecting in the coming days?
Well, Israeli authorities have said that they are committed to maintaining the status quo of the Al-Aqsa compound. And like with every Ramadan, for the last 10 days, non-Muslims are not allowed to enter. But today is one of the holiest nights of the month of Ramadan for Muslims. Many Palestinians will be going to the mosque to be praying all night there. And if there are Palestinians who are not allowed onto the grounds of the mosque, or if there is a large presence of Israeli police around the mosque, then the coming days could be another flashpoint.
Hind Hassan, thank you. The U.S. has pretty much ended pandemic mode, except when it comes to immigration. Probably the most rigid public health restriction, Title 42, is still being used to turn people away at the border. And any attempt to lift that policy has run into a pretty brutal barrier: midterm politics. Liz Landers is in Washington.
This week in immigration, Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy tracks immigration.
Our responsibility in the Department of Homeland Security is to implement the Title 42 authority of the CDC at our border and to implement it effectively and judiciously according to the law.
Title 42 is a public health measure that gives the federal government the authority to stop migrants, refugees, and asylum seekers at the border, supposedly to limit the spread of COVID. The Trump administration evoked the measure in March of 2020. It's set to end on May 23rd, and with that, the GOP has one of its midterm messages. How do you square this idea of Title 42 as a public health measure? I know a lot of Republicans have been excited to see the mask mandates be struck down recently. How do you kind of square those ideas that this is a public health measure, but do you still believe that there is a pandemic going on?
This administration, also in their hypocrisy, they still want to force CDC COVID-19 protocols upon us. That's why they're going to the courts to continue the mask mandates on planes and in public transportation, but yet they're just volunteering to give it up on May 23rd for non-citizens and illegal immigrants. And so there's a hypocrisy there, but I don't care whether it's public health or not. I think the massive intrusion of our southern border, invasion of our country, that to me is a public health incident and it needs to be addressed.
On Monday, a federal judge in Louisiana effectively ruled to keep Title 42, at least for now. It's not just Republicans seizing on this. Democrats are super scared they're going to lose seats in November. Some are trying to head off a hard re-election campaign, like Senator Mark Kelly, who introduced a bill earlier this month to keep Title 42 in place for another 60 days. Title 42 is a public health measure. Do you think that there is still a pandemic and a public health crisis at the border?
Well, we don't know. For me to be comfortable with thinking the pandemic is 100% behind us, I think we'd have to get to the point where there's very low case rates. So I don't think Title 42 should last forever.
Okay.
Because this is a public health issue. It was put in place for public health. But before you get rid of it, you should have a plan for how you're going to deal with the increased number of migrants.
Do you think that the Biden administration is ready for Title 42 to end on May 23rd?
No. And it's just not. I mean, I spoke to the Secretary of Homeland Security about this yesterday. It's very obvious that we do not have the tools in place to deal with an increase going from 7,000 to potentially 18,000 individuals a day.
The plan that Secretary Mayorkas presented today, do you think that that's going to help?
The idea is to have a plan that would help us handle an influx of migrants, but from my first review of the plan, it's still not sufficient enough to get us to a point where we can handle the influx. In the case of Title 42, for certain migrants, their return to Mexico, if that was to go away, we've got to find transportation and housing and the ability to process these folks, and that is not yet in place.
Do you think that maybe you could lose re-election because of the Biden administration's policies?
Well, I don't think of any issue as to whether it's going to help me or hurt me win an election. My job here is to make decisions and create policy that helps my state of Arizona, and helps our country. So I'm not focused on how this relates to an election that's 6 months away.
Thanks so much to Liz and that team. Later in the show, Michael Moynihan heads to a TikTok house where he tries to figure out how kids doing dances and kissing snakes are raking in boatloads of cash. But first, we head to a Staten Island Amazon warehouse where workers are hoping to do what used to seem impossible.
You've seen that chart of American productivity going through the roof. Where did all that money go? Into the hands of the billionaires. We're taking our money back.
We'll be back in 2 minutes. Workers at some of the country's biggest employers are doing something that used to seem impossible: unionizing. Dozens of Starbucks locations now have unions, and last week, the first Apple store filed for a union election. And then there's Amazon. Earlier this month, a warehouse in Staten Island became the first in the country to successfully unionize. Now, just down the road from that warehouse is a smaller one that's trying to do the same. Vice News' Lauren Kaori-Gurley has been covering this fight since the beginning. She went to see what unionizing looks like when workers have already seen it done.
What do we want? Unions! When do we want it? Now! If we don't get it, shut it down!
We're outside LDJ5, an Amazon warehouse in Staten Island, where workers will begin voting on whether to unionize tomorrow.
We got to vote to make history once again. We already did that on April 1st when we unionized that building right there with 8,300 workers. Now we got to finish the job over here with 1,600 workers.
Amazon is actually currently disputing the election results, the victory at JFK 8, the Amazon warehouse across the street, which voted to unionize in early April.
We have the power to bring Jeff Bezos to his knees.
You've seen that chart of American productivity going through the roof. Where did all that money go? Into the hands of the billionaires. We're taking our money back.
Do you expect to win?
Always. Never doubt in my mind. I know what type of organizing that we do. I know what the sacrifices we make. And I hope that it resonates with the workers inside.
You're doing a fantastic job, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Lauren Kaori-Gurley joins me now. Lauren, in April, one of Amazon's warehouses on Staten Island unionized. Huge deal, right? What does that mean for the future of labor? And where are we at as far as like a new labor movement?
So this is a huge deal for the labor movement. This is maybe the biggest union election or most significant union election of the past 50 years in the United States. It's because Amazon has close to 1 million employees now. They're about to be the largest employer in the United States in the next year or two. Wow. And they are, a fiercely anti-union company. I think for the past 2 decades, they have been hiring anti-union consultants to fight union drives anytime they form at one of their facilities. The other thing is that in Staten Island, what happened there is significant because it just seems so impossible and unlikely. And this tiny union that just formed less than a year ago with no institutional resources or funding, just a few workers literally from the facility, right now, they're about to face another union drive. We were out there on Sunday. There was a huge rally at a neighboring warehouse that is in the process of voting right now. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez showed up. Bernie Sanders showed up. There was just like a ton of energy. Hundreds of supporters were showing up. And like a month ago, no one thought this was possible. But now the entire labor movement is rallying behind this because it's not just about Amazon. It's about the future of work in this country. And Amazon is sort of an employer that influences all low-wage employers in this country.
And what's Amazon's position on unionization? What have they been doing?
I guess first off, I should note that they are contesting the results of the election in Staten Island. They want those elections thrown out because they said that the National Labor Relations Board and the union sort of weren't playing fair, playing by the laws. Amazon has done all sorts of things to sort of crush this union drive and union drives all over the country. In Staten Island, they were sending out daily text messages. They created a website. If you go into the warehouse, it's plastered in like posters and flyers and bathroom stalls, all with sort of anti-union rhetoric. They're spending money on Facebook and Instagram ads that are anti-union. They're holding hour-long meetings where they shut down production and workers are forced to listen through this. They're pulling workers aside to have sort of one-on-one conversations. They spent $4.3 million last year alone just on union-busting consultants. I should also note that the union that formed only raised $120,000 for this little election, and they beat Amazon.
And when is this second election that's happening in Staten Island?
The second election is happening right now this week. It started on Monday at 4:30 a.m. There's 2 voting periods each day. There's a big tent outside the warehouse where workers are lining up, and it's ending on Friday. And then we'll have a result sometime early next week. They're going to count the ballots in downtown Brooklyn.
Wow. And it's not just Amazon, right? There are other companies like Apple, Starbucks, like unionization at these big American companies that I guess beforehand weren't necessarily synonymous with organized labor.
Right. So right now there's a huge sort of upswelling of labor militancy at these big brand name companies like Starbucks. I think around 200 Starbucks stores have filed for union elections since November. In November, not a single store was unionized. Now we have close to 30 stores that have unionized. This movement's really being led by, Gen Z and millennials and young people. But I guess I should note that despite all of this activity and the labor movement being so popular, only 10% of American workers are in unions, and the union density in this country is actually shrinking.
So that's something you'll be paying attention to going forward. Thank you, Lauren, for your reporting on this. After the break, Michael Moynihan meets with young people who passed up entry-level jobs and student loans to try to cash in on a much more lucrative career path.
I was like, what do y'all do? And he was like, I'm an influencer.
He actually answered, I'm an influencer?
Yes. Right. I said, how do you make money? I've never understood it. He was like, you know how there's like Beyonce and Jay-Z, famous people for music? He's like, well, we're famous for social media. I'm like, so people follow y'all just to watch your life? And then he was like, yeah. I was like, okay, sign me up.
Every new social media platform shifts what we think is normal. Facebook made it okay to share your diary with your entire college campus. Twitter made anonymous bullying just part of life. And TikToks made it totally normal for groups of good-looking young people to live together in houses doing dances for their phone cameras. In the second installment of our series, American Grift, Michael Moynihan went to LA's TikTok houses to figure out who's actually cashing in.
It was just before noon when I arrived at Vault House.
That is good. That'll be good content.
And its young occupants had only just peeled themselves from bed, assembling for the day's writer's room, which featured no writers and took place on a couch.
Let's start morning meeting now.
Hello.
Focus.
Hello. We have hella heads today.
What are we doing?
Yeah, but we're gonna have Ballo and Swag Boy Q overs. We should do this.
I think Kiara should do a kiss or slap.
I'm not doing that.
They are sick of me kissing.
No, they're not. They ask for it every time.
Kira and Trey kissing.
Yeah. One can be don't bring a girl home or a boy home.
Oh, yes.
And then one can be don't lose the group. Can you write these down because you're going to forget and I'm going to be very upset.
Escalating, girl.
I don't have any idea what's happening.
What's poppin', chicken nugget?
Babe, wake up, wake up, wake up!
I didn't want to go to the party. I wanted to go to the party to scare bitches.
For the past few years, TikTok has been the fastest growing social media platform in the world. It currently boasts around 1 billion active users. And its astonishing growth was facilitated by crisis. During those long months of compelled COVID hibernation, TikTok was the most downloaded app in the world. A platform famous for its ubiquitous dance trends became a sort of gateway drug for Gen Zs and younger millennials. Those disinclined to flailing on camera sought notoriety on different terms.
It's to give me that money back.
TikTok became a vast repository of makeup tutorials, unlicensed psychotherapy, questionable financial advice, and boorish humor.
Potatoes salad.
Having a more female-based audience is more money.
Can you explain to me what I was watching?
TikTok is all run by like our age range.
Who's the youngest person? How old are you?
18.
You're 18. Oh, so that's the youngest. None of you are from LA, is that right? How did you get here?
An old member that used to live here invited me to come like stay and hang out.
And that's somebody you knew through TikTok?
Right. Somebody on TikTok. They offered to trial me, like see if I would be a fit for the house.
Does anybody remember that first time that somebody was like, I want to pay you for the shit that you do?
I thought people were just doing videos for fun. Just go like viral. I had people asking to duet. You duet their videos and they'll pay me. I'm like $250. And I was working.
What were you doing?
I was working at FedEx.
It's probably better than working at FedEx, isn't it?
Oh, way better.
So on your own TikTok account before you came here, like how many followers did you have?
Before I came out here, I had like 700,000. Well, now I have 1.3 million.
But you guys all have your own individual accounts still? And are you posting to those too?
Yes. Yeah. We just have to figure out how to keep everyone in their content. Everyone's niche is completely different.
What's your niche?
I just stand in front of the camera and I just blink. I really do.
You're good at standing in front.
Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes they like me to stand in front of the camera with sweats. Or sometimes they request I stand in front of the camera with my leg. And so if they want that, I'm like, okay, well, here's us.
Who's they?
The people watching.
Who has the biggest following? Yeah. How big is your following?
Right now, I have 4.1 mil.
I'm sorry, what now?
4.1.
You know that's the size of Ireland. It's about 4 million, the population of Ireland. How would you explain your appeal on TikTok?
I'm just known as a scary chick on TikTok.
She's actually talented.
Let's rip this bitch off.
The most successful video I have right now is like at 68 million views right now.
I'm sorry, 68 million views?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what is it?
It's just me like transforming, like turning into like a monster.
Let's crush them.
How is that monetized, the 68 million? Even if it's fractions of a penny, that's a ton of money.
I actually didn't get paid for that video. I didn't get paid for that video.
Can you leave the number of your manager here so I can fire them for you? How do you make money?
A lot of promo.
A lot of promo. Wait, so you're not promoting your own stuff, you're promoting...
No, that's all, yeah. People's songs, products.
I have this one, like, inexclusive manager who gives me sound promos, like songs. So, like, he's probably my biggest, like, income.
Is that seat taken?
That's my lap.
And as a manager, they take a cut, and they take like 15%?
50, I'd be like...
50?
Yeah.
Really?
Agencies will sucker these kids that come from Nebraska or Ohio or like...
Wait, isn't someone here from Nebraska?
Him, that's why I said it.
So there's a lot of exploitation in this world, right? Because most of the people are pretty young.
Yeah.
And don't have a ton of experience. It's like a pretty fertile ground for ripping people off.
Right.
But you guys make pretty good money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
For the most part, yeah.
Just so you're not identifying yourself and what you make, what's like a range?
Yeah, honestly,
it depends on the person and what your content is.
A lot of money.
It all depends on the engagement at the end of the day. Because I know people that have 5 mil followers, but I know people with 200K that still have better views than them.
Yeah, and they get paid more.
They get paid more.
Like if I have like 2 mil and Spence has 1 mil, and then my engagement is like 200,000 a vid, but his engagement's 1 million a vid, he's gonna get more randos than me because he's gonna get pushed out more.
I mean, it's kind of exhausting, though, isn't it? Do you guys ever feel like, I don't want to do this anymore?
No, because I know it's...
Two answers right next to each other. No, yes.
I know if I'm not doing this, I'm in Nebraska, bored off my ass, working a 9 to 5.
Okay, so what's today? What's the rest of the day look like?
We have some guests come over, some other creators.
Is that normal? That you have like cross-pollination between other houses and things like that?
Yes. What's a secret you never told your ex?
The world of influencers is competitive, bitchy, and incestuous.
That mean you chicken.
A reality show spread across dozens of Southern California zip codes. My first day sequestered in a TikTok house featured an impromptu gathering of LA-based TikTok celebrities.
We're gonna just go. Let's go. I don't have time for this. I'm not waiting for them.
None of whom sparked even the faintest recognition. It was like being present for the recording of a teenage We Are the World, but with more bling and no charity.
So you guys make sure you're eating, drinking water, staying hydrated.
Yeah, I think it's just like ideas. That's the hardest thing, just coming up with ideas that like no one else does. Just making it hard.
Okay? One more time for the outfit, guys.
But even their real-life social engagements are for the benefit of social media. One I forever trained on follower counts.
Woo! That's a lot of work. Okay.
So you increased 15 million in the past year. What on earth did you do to do that? And can you write it down on a small note card for me to do?
Basically, like there's like a married couple or a couple.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And I'll be like, hey, like, I'll pay you $10,000 if you let me kiss your girl right now. Can I give a girl a kiss for $10,000 all in cash?
No, look, stop. We're not doing that.
Huh?
We're not doing that.
Do you actually pay them?
I mean, 9 times 10 of them went through on it. So look, I got this guy right here on Instagram. Do you know who this is?
That's my boyfriend.
Well, a lot of guys don't sell their girls for money. Last and final offer, I got $50,000. This is my last time telling you. Just for a kiss.
On the lips?
On the lips.
Okay.
All right?
Yo, chill. 50K with me.
I mean, kissing is that's not that big of a deal. No, it's for 10 grand.
That's like 10 grand. That's like
The shit that I would do for 10 grand. I mean, good Lord.
crazy, right?
So you might have a roster of influencers, but I got influencers in the house.
You just sounded like a prison warden.
I've got them on.
You have them captured. So you're a TikTok couple.
Yeah.
How many followers do you have?
I have like 10.4 million.
Why?
Before the break, Michael Moynihan took us inside a TikTok house in LA, where making videos is pretty much an around-the-clock job. Now he takes us back to figure out why what looks like a fun gig is such a grind.
Whether your talent is paying women to make out with you or just being moderately attractive on camera, the influencer is always thinking about posting. And once you build a following, the key to retaining it is a steady stream of content.
Yes, the dog has to be in it.
In our short attention span age, and on a short attention span app, a lull in production and you'll quickly be overtaken and forgotten. Those seemingly candid moments are often artfully choreographed. And countless takes are performed in order to get the videos just right.
Hey, one more time.
Much of what they film never makes it to their feed. The feed must be constantly fed.
All right, take 10.
The life of the influencer might look like one big vacation, but, I'm repeatedly told, successful TikTok personalities take no time off. And vacations are only possible if sponsored by a brand.
All right, we rock and roll. Go ahead, Spencer. It's only 8 seconds, Poppy. Get it. We want to get the logo in the shot first.
Michelle Vanius is the brains behind Voltes. It's Vanius who recruits the talent, signs them to her TikTok agency, and moves them into one of her half-dozen TikTok houses.
Good job. That looks good.
How did you land on the TikTok influencer beat?
So I was a little familiar having come doing social media, web development. My daughter started YouTube at like 13. I recognized very quickly that this was just basically celebrity endorsements, but on a different level. And I saw how much money it was. We decided to focus on Gen Z. We had already been doing brand campaigns on TikTok since 2018, way before anyone was even paying attention to that platform. And then COVID hit. We were able to double the agency during COVID in 2020.
I mean, you're much more captive audience in those terms. I mean, literally captive.
They were growing fast. You know, it was still cheaper than Instagram and YouTube, and we started a content house in April. Everybody can post, but no one has 4 walls to do traditional product placement like we do. So you might have a roster of influencers, but I got influencers in the house.
You just sounded like a prison girl. You have been captured in this one house.
It was COVID.
Yeah, no.
Authentic, I'm so authentic, original, authentic, I'm so authentic. Only one. Authentic, you're so authentic, original, authentic, yeah, authentic.
I come to you and I want to be one of your clients. Who do you need me to be?
I need this not to be a hobby.
Okay.
I need this to be your priority. And because we invest in the younger generation, because we know how 10 times their income will be generated when they start getting married and start having kids, then they can work with the Home Depots and the Target, which is where the real money is. If I can maintain your production, our investment in the Gen Z is going to pay full 10 times when they become adults. We want influencers who want to be great, not just influencers who want a number. Right?
You pay them well?
They get paid well.
So you don't pay them?
We are not employers. Yes.
Is this some kind of Uber thing, like a contract thing? I know what's going on.
No, we're helping to manage their careers, right? Brands pay them.
What's the average person making a year?
The smallest sponsorship we've done for a house is $20,000. $20,000 a month for a 3-month commitment will get you some piece of content or something out of the housemates in that house. Twin Flames, where we are today, they're just launching, but they've already made money for house deals before we even launched the house.
God, you're inviting dysfunction with a couple's house, aren't you?
No, this is the reality. This is what these kids are already doing.
This house, Twin Flames, is for couples. You can imagine, in an era of ubiquitous reality television, why such an arrangement would appeal to Nichelle. Josh and Star just moved into Twin Flames.
What do you mean, yeah, that's awful, bro?
So you're a TikTok couple?
Yeah.
How many followers do you have?
I have like 10.4 million.
Why? Why you guys over...
He taught me how to like make a video blow up, and we kind of just learned the
Because
format.
she was never familiar with TikTok. She wasn't even on the platform.
Well, I always wanted to blow up anyway, so I probably would have figured it out. But I probably wouldn't have been at 10 mil right now.
Do you make any money from that?
A lot of money comes from brand deals.
For me, like, social media is maybe 20% of what I do. Like, I also do website businesses, e-commerce. I do real estate.
You couldn't do that without the money from social media, right?
Oh, yeah. Social media is literally what provided all of that for me.
So it was essentially for you, it was like seed capital started a company, right?
Yes.
I think social media helped me get signed to a management and get my music career like started.
Why did you choose to move into this house?
When we like first were dating, I had a place in Glendale, and that place cost like $4,000 a month. So I'm like, you know what? Instead of like paying $4,000 a month, I'd rather come here,
save 50 grand for a year. Yeah,
exactly.
And do you know the other people that have moved into the house, or there are people moving in, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone's moved in.
Yeah, we have a new couple moving in, Danny and Lynn, because our other couple left.
And they were no good?
The guy was just like awful.
What is it like living in a house that's not only with just two other couples, but under the microscope all the time, always having to perform?
I love it.
You love it?
I love it. Yeah.
You want more people like wanting to know about your life?
Mm-hmm. I want to see them just like flood the DMs.
So you want fame?
Yeah.
I think it's refreshing that you admit it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie.
What is it about fame that makes you want it so badly?
I think it's like making money, just being yourself in a way. I don't like working. Like, to be honest, I don't like working like hard-working stuff. I'm gonna be honest. I like entertaining. I like singing. I like dancing in front of the camera. Just be myself to an extent, even though you kind of have to fake it.
I'm a Christian guy. Like, I love God because like He's allowed this all to happen for me. And I'll talk about all these different opportunities and try to get people into any opportunity that's available.
What happens if it disappears? What do you do?
Probably devote my life to cats.
To cats?
Previous generations, including mine, you needed a degree. Even if you didn't have a college degree, you were going to have some sort of technical training. Now, you're back to Amy, who lives in Florida, and Amy is making more money than her parents wearing a bikini.
We are back for the conclusion of Michael Moynihan's look at TikTok startup. He's shown us what life is like at one of LA's TikTok houses and who's actually making money off it. Now he takes us back to ask these influencers, what happens if all this goes away?
Predictably, teenagers having fun and making money provoke the usual moral panic, with breathless headlines about the app precipitating a mental health crisis among teens. Pundits and politicians called for regulation.
TikTok is a platform that is basically a Trojan horse for the Chinese government.
The Trump administration, throwing constitutional concerns to the wind, threatened to ban the app.
We are looking at a lot of alternatives with respect to TikTok.
There were tens of thousands of newly minted TikTok professionals who monetized skill sets that most people didn't even know were considered skill sets. The moral panic became an existential panic. There was this funny moment. It didn't look like it happened when Donald Trump said, I'm going to ban TikTok.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, pretend that happened.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do?
Well, personally, I want to get into real estate and start doing my own businesses. So this was never like my main focus.
But for some people,
I'm concerned for them. I'm honestly concerned for those that group.
Well, like personally.
Because of their age, it allows them to be like really immature. You know, there's no parents. Everyone's just kind of like living like adults, but like no one's actually an adult.
Is there a moment where you're like, do you ever do that?
I don't think I have the time to do that. I just have to deal with it.
Do you make money?
Yeah. For the work that you put in, it's definitely worth it.
When you said the word work.
Right, like I use that loosely.
It's work.
It is.
Yeah, I mean it is though. Do you have a break from it?
No.
Never.
Never.
But Michelle shrugs off the concerns.
I will be getting a big one eventually.
And puts her money where her mouth is. Her kids are TikTok influencers.
TikTok is still new. Brands are still figuring it out. The younger generation are the ones that set the trend for pop culture.
Why is there so much contempt for them doing that, though?
There was a feeling when it was relegated to the athletes, the musicians, the actors, who could claim that sort of influence. Now when you open it up and you say anybody and everybody can do it, that puts a little more pressure on you to say, why can't you do it? Previous generations, including mine, you needed a degree. Even if you didn't have a college degree, you were going to have some sort of technical training. Now you're back to Amy, who lives in Florida, and Amy is making more money than her parents wearing a bikini. That doesn't make everyone feel so good, because then if Amy can do it, why can't you? For me, I went to University of Pennsylvania. I'm an Ivy League grad. I'm expecting that my kids are going to go to top schools. Neither of my daughters decided to go to college.
How do you feel about that?
I know how much money this business makes. They can make six figures at an age that would have taken them getting a master's.
Yeah, but if she has a Yale degree at 60 years old, she can make a ton of money. At 60 years old, what is it?
One or two things happens. You do this, you make a tons of money. You have parents like my daughters have, and they teach you about savings and investing, and you created your own trust fund. You've created generational wealth. You will continue to make wealth if you continue to be an influencer and you haven't burned out. Or you can make money, spend it all, and be washed out, right? Same way you could get a college degree and become addicted to something and, wash out too. Or
again, are you talking about me?
This alien world, with its often incomprehensible rituals and nomenclature, exists to excite the neurons of teens and ultimately separate them from their parents' hard-earned money. Besides the rapid and often vapid content, it's pretty traditional. Attractive people with varying degrees of talent were lured to LA with dreams of fame. Some make it and some don't, and the ones who do are handsomely compensated. After all, almost every influencer I spoke to dreamed of a career in traditional movies or on traditional television. There's nothing new in that sense. But there's one noticeable paradigm-shifting difference. Gatekeepers still exist, but there are fewer. No one approves scripts, no executives offer notes, no morons in suits demand moronic rewrites. And while perhaps some of this stuff could use an editor's pen, the content is perishable, quickly filmed and soon forgotten. The content doesn't exist to fill some artistic need, with financial compensation a flattering bonus. The content exists almost exclusively to lure the money, to achieve the fame, for everyone to get paid. TikTok has made celebrity more democratic, but it also seems more aggressively commercial. Selling out is no longer an insult. It's the goal. If the content creators create pointless content, the only thing left is the personality, the influencer, the transitory fame of a human billboard.
What are you paying me? What are you paying me? Quick. $10,000. $10,000.
We need to kiss her on the mouth. But first, give it away from me.
You kiss him first.
That's right.
See, this is really how influencers make money on aimless bets. $10,000 made. Thanks, Mom. There was a time when I had giant snake climbing on my body right now.
Disgusting.
Give him a kiss.
No. Quick, get away from me. Get away from me.
That's it for Vice News tonight. Tomorrow, we've got an investigation from David Noriega in Mexico, where reporters covering cartels are having to look out for anonymous Facebook pages, politicians, and potential hits on their lives.
Se supone que este botón es un botón de emergencia.
Eso te lo entregó el mismo gobierno federal.
Así es. A ver, vamos a hacer una prueba si quieren.
Dale. ¿Cuánto se supone que se demoran en llamarte?
Y debe de ser inmediato. Pero pues ahorita ya vamos.
Ya han transcurrido, ¿qué? 30 o 40 segundos.
Por eso le digo, es una medida de protección que no sirve. Sí, bueno.
Muy buenos días, señor Ignacio Santiago.
Sí.
Gracias, operador 11 del centro de monitoración de evolución de la activación del dispositivo. ¿Todo se encuentra bien?
Solamente para ver que estuviera correcto su funcionamiento.
Bien, será en caso de que requiera un apoyo y igualmente presione su dispositivo ya nos estaremos comunicando con usted.
Muchísimas gracias.
Tenemos cliente que tengan muy buen día.
Gracias. Para mí se me hace un botón muy tonto. Si fuera para una emergencia, no vas a poder. Para mí no sirve de nada, solamente para encontrar tu cuerpo.